2 years ago, the long-awaited Animal Crossing New Horizons took the world by storm, comforting both new and old fans as we entered the pandemic. 1 year ago, that same community was disappointed with New Horizons' failure to live up to its predecessors, me included. A general lack of updates meant that the game would forever feel unfinished, until 5-ish months ago, Nintendo brought it back with version 2.0, making the game truly feel like the follow-up it always should have been. But what about today, right now? Did the victories born from 2.0 last? Is Animal Crossing New Horizons saved? Alright, back it up. Welcome to Retrospective number 2 for Animal Crossing New Horizons 2022 edition post 2.0, 2 years out, 2 Horizons. I made this video last year that meant to serve as the 1-year retrospective, and thankfully a good chunk of it has aged poorly with the 2.0 update. So for this year's look back on the game, I want to correct myself and judge New Horizons under its fresh new modifications. Nintendo also mentioned that 2.0 would be the last big update, and so was 2.0 enough to save the game? Are all of the complaints in the first video obsolete? Is New Horizons a good Animal Crossing game now? And the answer is sort of. I give 2.0 a lot of credit for making the game right when plenty of the crowd had already moved on. The only glaring question was, would it be enough to reignite the interest of that crowd? Lots of updates before had tried and failed, drawing back players only for a small amount of time before they would drift again. And unfortunately, 2.0 would be no different. I look at my friends list now, and it's as barren as it was before the update, with only a few players here and there. But just because New Horizons couldn't pull back in the populace it once had doesn't mean that this update failed. We need to put ourselves in the perspective of someone playing the game for the first time, because this update does indeed make the experience better overall. With each passing month, I have more and more friends who get the game and are enthralled with the amount of things that they can do, and that list is only bigger now thanks to 2.0 and the DLC. And I say, good for you guys. It has flaws, but New Horizons is a fun game with lots to offer now more than ever. But as someone who had this game at launch, and especially during the lockdown, most of us had already moved on from the game before summer of 2020 when it was half of what it was now. There's only so much an update can do for a release game, and this update came out 1.5 years too late. 2.0 is what Animal Crossing New Horizons always should have been, and what it always needed to be to even stand a chance against New Leaf, because let's be honest, most of its updates were just catching it up.
No way!
What? Oh my god! Ah! There it is! No way! What did I just see? You can swim!
They brought it back?
That's exactly what I wanted.
Look at that, dude. The ocean opens up. Woo, doggy.
What? You can dive!
We get diving?
Swimming and diving. Wow, they're really going out there. They're gonna get eaten by a shark.
The worst part of New Horizons drought was waiting months for the game to be shaken up, and we get Mario items. Oh brother, sick man. New Leaf had items from tons of Nintendo games. GameCube had tons of Nintendo games, but they were making a special content update for Mario items. How lovely. This is something the game still lacks too, as well as various other things. 2.0 for sure made the game better, but far from perfect, okay? I know I just acted like the update was earth-shattering, but let's not forget, at the center of this game, a lot of the core problems still existed, and what 2.0 improved only drew more attention to them. Like how slow terraforming is, when in the DLC you can edit a plot of land very easily, but Nintendo refuses to put this in the main game. Nintendo, have you ever flattened an island like you have my attention span? It's even weirder considering the amount of things locked behind the DLC that can be brought to the main game. In New Leaf, there were quality of life updates in Happy Home Designer that were eventually added in the 2016 update for free. But in New Horizons, to do things like partition and lighting or polish effects, you have to own and complete the DLC. There's enough of an argument there in itself, but my question is, why not bring over the terraforming tool that everyone loves? Because as pointed out several times for years now, this sucks and is too slow. Quality of life was only slightly addressed with the update. You can have storage sheds and place ladders. great, but anything to directly speed up the game? No way, idiot. Still crafting one thing at a time, still waiting on the loading screen, still watching slow animations. I don't care if you are a new or old player, everyone has noticed this at some point. I played Breath of the Wild simultaneously with this game for the most recent videos, and the difference is light years. New Horizons is like... But then Breath of the Wild is like... It's so frustrating. I would love to give my island a new look or fresh coat of paint because that's like all you can do in this game, but it's self-mutilation to give so much time to play a game when you aren't playing at all. Let's move on.
So slow. I can't stand you.
Brewsters was one of the most desired things from the community leading up to this update, but without anything to really do here like listen to KK Slider or work a job, it's just an illusory, meaningless, empty addition to the game, which is very New Horizons, so good job. Cooking is the same way, adds a lot of new items to eat, but the functionality is the same as Fruits, and it really only innovates in terms of culinary aesthetic. I ain't got no kitchens. Meanwhile, the Ordinances, the RV Park, and Cap'n Islands are all interesting additions because they stomp on the concept of routinely playing at different times to do different things. Like how you can only find red or kick some days, or how you can only catch some bugs in winter or summer. The game offers variety to those who play it around the clock. But now a lot of the time-guided aspects are now super controllable and less consequential. Cap'n Islands let you access different seasons. Ordinances let you set the island to your schedule. The RV Park lets you see any of the visiting merchants whenever. As someone who time travels, I'm very okay with this. But it makes the game so much easier to not play, which was always another underlying complaint about the difficulty of New Horizons. Not being present in the old games means that the town moves on without you. Plants die, villagers leave, you re-enter the game with Bedhead and have to deal with this mole trashing on you for 10 minutes while fighting your way out of thousands of weeds. But in New Horizons, the town is you. Your villagers won't move unless told, your flowers do not wilt, Rossetti is on sabbatical. You walk out with Bedhead and it is fixed without doing a single thing. Where the other games punished you the more time you spent away, New Horizons is an easy game to walk away from, and I'm constantly questioning whether or not this was a good change of strategy. Sometimes I'm reluctant to turn on the older games because I know my villagers will scold me and I know I'll have to clean up weeds for an hour. It makes the experience repulsive. But it's also why I enjoyed checking the games at least once a week to maintain the town and visit with everyone. With New Horizons, I would get that sensation to go back to the game after putting it down for some time, but when I realized there was no consequence for doing so, more and more time passed. The game doesn't drive you enough, it doesn't engage you in a state of constant discovery. And perhaps the most important thing about this and the entire update and the entire video is that the animals of Animal Crossing are still not enough. Because the thing that kept me coming back to those games wasn't to catch the seasonal bugs or see what was in the shop. It was to hang out with Opal and see what she was up to. It was to witness Tortimer get roasted by Hopper, or to bring Pearl medicine. I'm gonna go for the line, guys. These weren't just my villagers, they were my friends. And I felt real-world absence when I didn't interact with them. But for the 100th time, New Horizons characters lack the qualities to feel invested, immersed, engaged. And not one part of 2.0 dealt with any aspect of these lame villagers. They come over now, but no, I don't even care about this anymore. Shut up and go away. You are just irritating. Really, the one piece that is universally praised about 2.0 is that it added more, whether that's more furniture or inclines or villagers or whatever else. You can add as much makeup to any face as you want, but if it's still ugly underneath, this metaphor sucks. Don't listen to me. Everyone is beautiful. In other words, at its core, New Horizons is still a game with boring characters that is overly focused on looks and expression, but now there are a lot more looks and expressions, which is a good thing. Because I also want to reiterate that 2.0 is still an update, and a damn good one that makes the game feel better than ever before. Personally, I think 2.0 could have done more. It should have done less adding to New Horizons and more changing the equation, because once you get enough gyroids or recipes or pokey, it's just the same game with plenty of the same issues. I'm still here after 2 years listening to podcasts while I mash the A button to craft a bunch of bait. I'm still here after 2 years wishing that the store would be bigger and offer more than 5 deliveries a day for the game all about collecting items. I'm still here after 2 years just trying to load into my friend's town. But above all else, I'm still here. I did have fun with 2.0. To be honest, I completely forgot why I put the game down. Was there something I had to do? In researching via Twitter and other places, I see I am not the only person in this position who left 2.0 to go play other games. Last fall was just crazy. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Going back to watch this video a year ago is weird. Just listening to my voice, you can hear the woeful tone I had, being upset with what was happening in my life and New Horizons for failing to provide a safe escape. As time marched on, I wondered if it was a bit unfair of me to expect a game to help deal out such feelings. Then I played New Leaf for a whole summer and nope, New Horizons, woohoo, you got bunned, cuz. But both me and the game have grown a lot since then. New Horizons is a significantly better game than it was when I talked about it in the first retrospective, and we have 2.0 to thank for that. Could it have done more? Probably. But it also could have done nothing at all. So I have to appreciate it for improving the game and give credit where credit is due. I am so tired. Let's talk about Kirby.